these, not that one there, but one of the regular caps. Okay, to follow up on that last video, one thing I forgot to show you guys.
Okay, we are live. That was an awkward silence.
That's what I'm saying.
I was like, I don't know if I can say anything. Good morning, Rusty.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. So I'll let you introduce yourself like I always, and then I'll share it on my page. But you go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll get started.
Good morning. As everybody knows, or most of you know, my name is Rusty Schrader. I'm the owner and founder of All State Spray Foam Installation here in Visalia, California, and a big proponent of spray foam worldwide. And that's about it from my introduction.
Tell us where it's how do you say it?
Visalia.
Where are you in California? Because that's where I'm always curious. I'm like, where is that?
Well, I'm pretty much centrally located, Carla. I'm about an hour north of Bakersfield and 45 minutes south of Fresno.
Okay.
So I'm like right in between Fresno and Bakersfield. I'm about 2.5 hours from the coast, Pismo, Arroyo Grande, those areas over there.
Ah, okay.
I'm also about 2.5 hours from Yosemite.
Oh, okay. I was like, where is he? Because I know where I actually have been to Bakersfield, so I was very close to you.
Yeah, you're about an hour away from me.
Oh,
yeah.
Dang. When was that? I was, like you say, your daughters live in Long Beach. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law live in Long Beach. So we were there in I forget when that was. That was last year, I think. So, but yeah, I was close to you. I should have been better about that.
Yeah,
Dang.
I have 2 daughters that live in Long Beach, Gabby and Alexa.
Right.
And then I have one that lives in, she's over by Hollywood. And then I have 2 that live in Porterville. And then I have one that lives in Tulare. Then Derek, he lives in Porterville also. Dennis lives here with us. And then TJ and Macy, the youngest out of the crew, they live here with us also, the twins.
Oh.
And then we have one in Oregon. So
one in Oregon, okay.
Yeah. So we're kind of spread out all.
Yeah, that's a beautiful coastline in Oregon for sure.
Yeah, I guess it rains a lot there though. So
same as here. Yeah, it's kind of gloomy, and I know I had friends here last week or the week before Christmas, and they came from where they live. It might be cold, but the sun is out all the time. Come here, gray. The entire, they were here for 5 days, no sun. It was like, ooh, yeah, it was pouring rain, and that is how it is here too. So we're rounding out the year with you, and then we get to start 2020 with your daughter.
Yeah, with the cut flanger, the one and only cut flanger.
Yeah, Haley's going to be on next Saturday, so I'm really excited to talk to her. But I thought it was kind of cool that we're ending one year and starting one year with the Schrader family, so that's a good way to do it.
It's a big blessing for us to come from where we came from to where we are now. On my last interview, I had so many people contact me from my story, and that's what made me come back on again. There's a few of us on here that are here to help,
right.
And we've been there, and we've done that, and there's a way out of it. That's a big deal. There's a way out of what we were to what we've become.
So maybe give a little bit of a background on that, for just in case, because there are people outside of worldwide who are watching. But I know, you and I talked, and I wanted to talk about that because the impact of that conversation was unlike any other ones I've had. I've had some that, like, there's always feedback on all of them, but yours was the one that, like, you and I talked about it many times behind the scenes, like, holy cow, like, so many messages, so many people just commenting and talking about how it impacted them and how it's going to help them. You know, like, it was amazing. And
Well,
neither you or I did not have any clue that was going to happen, and it was unreal. Like, we kept saying, I can't believe this, in a good way, in a very good way.
We talked about stuff that I'd never talked about before in my life, because it's so hard for me to talk about.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'll try to get through this without blubbering like an idiot, okay?
We're all good. We're all good.
Okay, my name's Rusty Schrader again. You know, I am a recovering drug addict, alcoholic. I've come from the pits of hell. My wife came from the pits of hell. You know, we did it at separate times. I was a stone cold junkie that nobody even wanted to see or talk to. Homeless. I had nothing, absolutely nothing. And I woke up one day and I was done with it. That was 5/5/05. Okay. I mean, I have a 3-inch track on my arm from sticking a needle in my arm numerous times over and over again for years. That will never go away. That just reminds me daily of what I used to be, you know. My clean day is also my wife's birthday, which was, we weren't even together then, which is, you know, kind of a big deal to me also. You know, it was just a symbol to me that, you know, I'm where I need to be, she's where she needs to be. And since we've become a family, you know, I think 7 years ago we got together, and 3 years ago, April 4th of 2002, we got married. No, excuse me, of 4/2/16 is when we got married. I still remember it, kind of. And then since we've become a family, we have done nothing but build off of each other's failures, because we know what it takes not to go back to where we came from.
Right.
So, again, if anybody is listening to this or watching this or will watch this in the future, if you need help, my phone is always on.
Yeah.
You know, am I somebody special? Absolutely not. But I've been there. I've been where you're at, where you think that nobody's ever going to want you around again, or that you've beat yourself up so bad that you're never going to be worth anything. Not true.
Right.
You know, here it is, let me see, almost 15 years later. Okay, I now own my own company. I've went to court. I've got almost 17 charges expunged off my record. The judge stood up and clapped for me. The bailiff stood up and clapped for me, you know. I've adopted my wife's two youngest twins. I adopted those kids as my own. They came to me and asked me to be their dad.
Yeah.
And
which I just want to say that is right there. If kids are going to ask you that, you know you've changed. You know you've done something right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a real troubled past with my own children. Still have a troubled past with a couple of them, or troubled time with a couple of them, you know, because of what I've done in the past. But at this point in my life, you know, there's we're just trying to live and be a family and just love each other, you know, at this point. And my wife is a big part of that. I was a total asshole. I didn't care where I come from, you know. I didn't care if I had any friends or family or anything like that, you know. And my wife and my kids have actually showed me what it takes to actually love myself. Right. And until you love yourself, or at least until you can look in the mirror and not hate that person that you're looking at, You got an issue that you have to work out with yourself. No matter who tries to help you or what tries to help you, it's not going to help until you can look in that mirror and see that person and not hate them. And today I can say I do that, you know.
And that's awesome. Yeah. I wanted to actually touch base on that because we've talked about this in a few of the lives with people who have gone through some hard, tough times. And I've had people, you know, talk to me behind the scenes again, and they feel they've gone through their own situation and they're trying to get out onto the other side, and they're doing awesome. Where they get caught, for some of them that I've talked to, is they've got charges, or they've got, like, there's legal things that they feel like they can never, that's going to be stuck with them forever. And I wanted to kind of touch base on that, how people, like, because you've gone through that, and obviously if you're able to adopt, you know, your kids and have your own business, how did you, is that just making sure you have the right law? Like, how did you get through all of that? Because I know you had some pretty serious stuff that you had to deal with.
Okay, here it is right here. I'll lay it out to you, okay?
Yeah.
When I was 27,
Mm-hmm.
okay, 27, my dad got killed.
Mm-hmm.
I drove up on the accident,
Mm-hmm.
threw the truck upside down, and him burnt to death inside of it.
Right.
That ruined me. He was my world.
Yeah.
I went off the deep end. Okay, I picked up, within 75 days of his death and his funeral, I had picked up carjacking, kidnapping, strong arm robbery, armed robbery of a store, grand theft auto, and numerous other charges that they could just charge me with to keep me in jail, because that's where I belong.
Right.
You know, when the probation officers or whatever came to do their report on me, they come in and they said, we were expecting a monster with your charges, you know.
Wow.
And at that point I was clean. You know, I had been in jail long enough that my head was kind of getting straight again.
Right.
And I just laid up to them, you know, what had happened. I still ended up going to prison for 3 years, 8 months, you know, for second-degree robbery. I got out. I did 13 months on parole, and then they wouldn't release me off parole. So I used that for an excuse, and I relapsed.
Got it.
It took me about 4 months. I was right back in prison again for 4 months for a dry out. I did my 4 months. I got out. I was clean for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I relapsed again. You know, because I thought in my head, I've been clean so long, I can just do a little bit and then not use no more.
Right.
There's no such thing.
Mm-hmm.
There is no such thing. If you're a drug addict, you're a drug addict, and you're not going to use just one time.
Right.
You know, it's just like the alcoholic that thinks he can take one drink. It's not true, you know, and it's hard.
You go back to where you left off.
If you go back 10 times worse than you left off, Carla,
Right. Got it.
you know, so I stayed strung out, and I contracted hepatitis C, and I got super, super sick. I mean, in convulsions, sick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's the morning I woke up, 5505, and I knew then that I was done using.
Mm-hmm.
And I waited 3 days to go to the hospital. So I laid in bed for 3 days in contractions, convulsions, not contractions, but convulsions, throwing up, just super sick, pretty much dying. And I wouldn't go to the hospital because I didn't want to get another charge, under the influence charge, for being under the influence of drugs.
Right.
So I went into the hospital, and the doctor told me then, you have two choices. He said, I'm not going to let you. You can quit using drugs or you can die. And I didn't want to die, you know, at that point. Mm-hmm. I did want to die, but I didn't want to die. So I made the choice. And I haven't used drugs since, you know, hard drugs. Let's put it that way. I haven't used hard drugs since.
Did you, was your wife in the picture at this time or no?
No.
Okay,
no,
so.
Not together. Me and my wife were together in our past when we were both strung out. and it wasn't the time for us to be together at that point. I've known my wife since, let me go back here, 87, I
Okay.
think was the first time that I met my wife. We were both kids, and we were strung out then. We were teenagers that were strung out. We had been strung out. I started using drugs when I was 14.
And did you do that just because you wanted to see what it was like kids do, or was there something that, did you have an event that happened, or was it just because?
No, I was raised in a really good family.
Yeah.
Were we rich? Absolutely not. But my mom and my dad worked every single day to make sure us kids had what we wanted. Even though we were working beside them at that point, we didn't know that they were just, my dad was teaching us, you know what I mean? This is what it takes to survive in life.
Right.
Well, at 14 years old, I was a freshman in high school. At the end of my freshman year, my mom and dad separated and got a divorce.
Okay.
And I went downhill from there because my whole world had went away. I didn't know how to react. I didn't know what to do. So I used it for an excuse, and I just started using speed. And I didn't stop using speed for 20 years, something like that. 23 years, something like that, Carla.
Yeah.
Obviously, I did when I was in and out of jail. But, and my life just stayed in a whirlwind, of being used and people telling me stuff, and just being in the wrong state of mind. So once I got clean and got my life back on track, I went to my old boss, actually the same boss that was working me, that kept me working the whole time I was strung out. And I told him, I said, I'm done. I'm clean and sober. I've got 2 weeks clean. When can I go back to work? And he said, be here Monday morning. So I went back to work for him, and within 30 days, I was running his company. Because that's just that's the worker that I am. Well, I worked for him for about 12 or 13 years until the economy crashed. And then I went to work in the fields. I was making $6,000 a week. And I went to work one day, and he said, I don't have no more work for anybody. He lost everything. I lost everything. 2 houses, 2 cars.
Right.
And my world collapsed again. But instead of going back to where I was from, I went and got a job in the fields and worked for $9 an hour. Even though I lost everything,
Right.
I was able to rent that house that I was buying, and stay right where I was at that point. But I worked in the field for about 14 months. Then I got a call from a foam rep, and he said, hey, Rusty, I got a guy in Bakersfield that's looking for a guy to spray foam. Are you interested? And foam is my life. At that point, I had already been bitten by the foam bug. So obviously I went right back to work spraying interior foam instead of roofing foam. And that's how I became an insulation foamer instead of a spray roofer.
Right.
So I worked for Pat, ASI, great company, great company, great man, Pat O'Malley, his son, his daughter, his wife, all great people. They did tremendous amounts of stuff for me and my family, and all of my kids, and I got to the point where I was ready to make the next move.
Yeah.
And so I started doing stuff on the side. And I went and got a contractor's license first. Let me back up a little bit, okay? I didn't want to be that scab out there that everybody talks about, that's just running around doing side work and all that. So I started taking steps. And that's where I got all my charges expunged, all of them. Because in California, you can't have a contractor's license and be a legit contractor if you have a felony.
Oh, okay.
You
So
have to
So you
Go
have to
ahead.
get rid of all of that off your record before you can do that.
Well, what it is you have to have, I think, 7 years, Carla, with no issues, no arrests, no nothing like that.
Okay.
Okay, and then the state of California will give you a chance, but they will. You got a 50-50 chance on it. If you get a guy in a bad mood, you're not going to get your license. They're going to turn you down.
Right.
So I took the steps, and I didn't give them that chance.
Hmm.
I went and got all my charges expunged. Even my driving record was all expunged. That's why there was 17 of them. You know, some of them was little piddly tickets for driving on a suspended license or speeding or something like that.
Hmm.
So then once that was done, I went for my license, and I got my license, my contractor's license.
Hmm.
And that's when I started doing work on the side. I would rent past rigs and go do a job.
Hmm.
And then I put all that money away because I still had a job. So we were able to pay our bills and everything. My
Yeah.
wife still had a job, and we were able to just pay everything. So I just started putting money away, putting money away.
Hmm.
And once I got enough money put away, I started buying equipment. Okay, and
Yeah.
while I was doing all this, I wasn't trying to stab my company in the back I was working for. I was trying to work with them, you know, and become
Yeah.
an ally with them and work with them the whole time. And, you know, when you lose your best employee, and I'm not boasting or bragging or anything like that,
Right.
okay,
Yep.
it tends to go sour, okay?
Hmm.
Pat O'Malley has done his best to make sure this does not go sour, along with me. We
Nice.
both work together at any time. He needs a rig on his job. I got two of them, and they're on his job. No cost.
Right.
You know, um, if I need a rig on my job, I'm able to get one of their rigs. You know, it's still a little rough. The waters are still a little rocky at this point with it. You know,
Hmm.
but anyways, that's off topic. So
Well, and
I
but I think that is a huge point to make, because I think what happens is people get caught up in that competition. You're going to be my competition, so it gets into that. You see me post about scarcity and abundance mindset, and if you have an abundance mindset, you're going to work together. If you've got
yeah
a scarcity one, you're going to be mad, and you're going to be all. So I mean, yeah, I get why, it's understandable. It's human nature. People get hurt or upset or whatever, because like you say, they're losing their best employee, but at the same time, you all still can find a somewhat of a place where you can work together.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah. There is a common ground in my eyes. At this point, okay, there's I don't know how many foam companies in California,
Hmm.
but if any one of those foam companies called me and needed help, technical help, parts, a rig on their job, it does not matter to me. I would do anything I could to help any one of those companies. It's not just in California either. Texas. I've been to Texas numerous
Yeah.
times spraying. You know, Josh Cotner with his rescue rig. I was
Yeah.
just on his rescue rig in LA. You know, anybody. I rebuild pumps, machines, guns constantly for other people. They're not my competition.
Right.
In my eyes, if they're not able to produce, and not saying that they don't know what they're doing, but if they don't have the capabilities to make good foam, it's bad for all of us.
Right.
So if I can
Yes.
be there and help them and just have a little bit of it, you know what I mean? I don't even care. I don't. It's not like I charge anybody to do any of this. I do it all for free, you know. And that's a big deal because of Spray Foam Worldwide to me. I wasn't like that before. Everybody was my competition, and I didn't care if anybody else ate or not, as long as I was eating. At this point, I want everybody to eat, not just
Right.
me.
I don't think you're alone in that thinking. Like that, Worldwide has changed that dynamic tremendously. And it's because all of you who are in that group have, you realized you all can work together, and you guys all, we see it all the time. You guys step up like every time something happens where somebody needs a hand and people just like, there's no question, that feed just goes, right? I think Cole Fletcher was talking about it with what happened with him with his kids at Christmas and the presents, and I didn't even know that had happened, and I'm reading this and going, oh, I love, like, that's why I love that group so much, is not only for just all the like knowledge and all of that, but that specific thing is the number one reason why I love that group so much. You guys go above and beyond.
It's not just a spray foam group anymore, Carla. It's not that. 100%. We're a brotherhood, and there is numerous mentors on this group for all different aspects, all different reasons. Obviously, Justin Poole makes everybody want to spray better foam.
Right.
Everybody wants to spray better foam because of Justin Poole.
Right.
It's simple. Everybody wants to be a better tech or anybody that can help because of Cole Fletcher, Wendell Gossett, Jeremiah Schomburg,
Right.
And there's that's not just those people, but there is numerous people because of that, and in my life. So I'm sure if it's happening in my life, it's happening in other people's life.
Yeah.
So, and then you got like Bill and Robert, and the rest of the admins that are quiet behind the scenes.
Yeah. That
actually go above and beyond and do stuff that nobody knows about. Robert goes to bat constantly. If he sees a post that somebody's negative on, he goes and gets facts and comes back with facts.
Yes.
And says, okay, here are the facts. Now let's debate about this. And he does it level-headed, where, like me, I would just, and I've learned from that to keep myself calm and talk my way through it, So
I have learned too, but like sometimes I slip. And I think afterwards, like, I think this person could handle it themselves, but I have to just put my 2 cents in there because I'm so mad. But yes, I've learned that too. It's like sometimes that one comment, it'll be like, oh, they just, whatever comment, it doesn't matter, but it catches you and it's like, is this for real? Then I get, but you have to take that step back, perhaps put the phone down and read it when you're calm.
Yeah, and usually by the time I do that, I come back and Robert or somebody, they've already come in with factual statements.
Yes.
And this is, let's debate this, and we're not mad about it. Let's go ahead and talk about it in a grown-up way.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen a number of people do that, and I know one that I work with, and he's Rex Taylor, and he's more of like parts and machines and that type of thing, but I know he always comes, and I always say to him, like, do that more, because you're giving, like, it's not your opinion, it's your knowledge, it's knowledge, and that's what people, my husband Rex always says to me, people tend to be opinionated and they want to throw their opinion and ram it down people's throats when nobody needs that. You need the knowledge. You need the facts and the knowledge behind it.
Yep. And that's really, really a good way to put it, Carla. I feed off of your husband constantly. I feed off of a lot of people in this page. When I'm having a bad day, I'll feed off of Dave George, Robert Cockrell, Mark Cordo, Christian Avitas, Justin Poole again. He's like one of my best friends. Yeah. And I feed off of these men and women. Yeah. Jennifer Edwards. I feed off of her more than she'll ever know.
That girl, I love that girl. I'm telling you, she is just the best.
Yeah. I mean, I have conversations with Dave George, just, I know he's come from where I was at, Yeah. And it's just mind blowing to me, that people will take their time and talk to somebody like me,
Right.
But at this point, we're up and we're running. We've last year we got our company shut down because we split partnerships.
Right.
So we had to go get a new license and all that, and that was April of last year. So 8 months later, we now are a legit business. I built our first rig by myself from the ground up.
Yeah.
The second one, we were able to go all the way to Nebraska to Nathan Kaiser's back there and buy a rig. We got the opportunity to meet Nathan, Jacob Stoll, great guy. Both of them great guys. And it's not very often that you can actually meet somebody in person in your own front yard and be able to trust what they say to you.
Right.
So when you can meet somebody over the internet and drive from California to Nebraska and get exactly what they told you were going to get, it's amazing. I can't talk about those guys enough and how true they are to their word.
Right.
So,
yeah, it's pretty crazy to think all of this is on the internet, right? And we've all become, like you say, we're family, and it's like, that there's just people that, like, nobody would have ever known each other.
Yeah, I would never known any of you guys ever would I've known anybody. Like Michael Whitshire, he was right after I built my rig. I had used it on one job myself, and he contacted me off Spray Foam Worldwide. He's actually out of LA, and there was a foamer in Fresno that had a rig broke down, and I didn't have the parts they needed, and I couldn't help them get their machine going. And they were on a job shut down over the weekend, on a holiday weekend. I said, come get my rig.
Yeah.
They come and got my rig, went and finished their job, and I would have never done anything like that before.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So, and that's all because of this group.
Yeah. It's filled with some of the best people I've ever, I guess not Matt known, I don't know, but like it's the people that I know for me that have supported me throughout things that I had to go through in this industry as well, that I will never forget that, ever.
Yeah, ever. There's stuff that's happened through that I'll never forget the people that have helped me, and I just hope that I can help other people, and that's where I want to be at, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to own a good spray foam company. I want my family to eat, and I want to help everybody that I can help.
Yeah.
And that's a complete 180 from where I used to be,
Yeah, and I mean, there's people we know there's people that watch this, or they sit on Spray Foam Worldwide and they never comment, they never talk, but they're reading and they're listening and they're watching and they're struggling. And I know Dave and I have talked about it too behind the scenes, and other people where, those people have reached out, and it's because they feel safe. They know that they can reach out, and they know, and because you guys have stepped up and shared your experiences. I said it to Dave, and I've said it to a number of people, it's saving somebody's life. It's saving somebody's life. And nobody can change that opinion.
It means a lot to know that people have actually been where you were at, because when you're down, when you're down there in the pits of hell, if you have never been there, you don't know, you know what I mean? And you hate yourself, and you hate everything, and the only love that you have is your addiction.
Right.
I mean, you don't love your kids, you don't love yourself. Number one, you don't love yourself, so you can't love anything.
Right.
So, again, you can come back from it. I did.
Yeah.
If I can, anybody can.
So this is the thing I know people struggle with, is that loving yourself and being able to look in the mirror. And how did you finally be able to do that? Like, did you force yourself? What was the process for you that you were able to do that? Was it your kids showing you that they loved you and that you did matter? Like, what what was the thing that helped you
Well,
get to where
my
you
wife are a big, huge part of it.
Mhm.
You know, Haley, the cup slinger, she's a huge part of it.
Mhm.
My twin, a huge part of it. You know, and they're not no more special part of it than any of the rest of them, but they're the ones that are here at all times. My son Dennis, my son Derek,
Mhm.
they're around me. You know what I mean? Constantly, and they just remind me that I'm not a horrible person anymore. You know,
Right.
uh, it was super hard, Carla, all the way up to, I don't know, 6 or 7 months ago,
Mhm.
maybe a little longer than that. I was actually able to start looking in the mirror. It's not like I've been, you know, and not hating that guy that I was seeing. It's
Mhm.
not like it's been that way for me for a while. It's just
Yeah.
starting for me.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm able to talk about it and say that's the last step for me, which should have been the first step,
Right.
you know. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you could say I was just maybe faking it till I made it, or because I don't believe in that, you know.
Yeah, but I get the gist of that phrase. I don't like that phrase either, but I get it because sometimes you do. Like I know I've I've not been down that path that you've been down, but I've been down a different path where like I didn't want to look at myself in the mirror. I didn't want to be alone. I never wanted to like, and now I finally come to the conclusion I'm an okay person, but it that doesn't happen overnight. It does
No,
not happen overnight.
you know, and again, a big part of it, you know, is my wife. You
Yeah.
know, she was a drug addict also, and she
Mhm.
did the same thing with her kids.
Yeah.
And me watching her with her kids, you know, and her, I don't want to say training me, but you know,
Right.
just being able to watch and learn,
Mhm.
and she, more than anything, she's the biggest part of
Yeah.
my accomplishments in anything.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because when I'm down on myself, you know,
Mhm.
and I hate myself,
Yep.
and she just tells me everything's going to be okay, I know it's going to be okay, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and to have that support is amazing. And it doesn't have to come from a wife, you know, it can come from anybody,
Mhm.
because for me, that's what it took.
Yeah.
It took somebody to show me that I was going to be okay, you know, that I wasn't that evil, rotten, horrible person that I used to be,
Mhm.
you know. And again, you know, it was because of her, you know,
Yeah.
my accomplishments and everything I am today is because of her.
Mhm.
And not that I wouldn't per se be clean and sober, but
Mhm.
I wouldn't be where I am in my life, you know, without my wife.
Right.
We now own a beautiful home. We own 2 foam rigs. We own
Yeah.
a legit company, you know, and we've done all this in the last 2 years together.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
But to say that when I was able to start looking at myself in the mirror and not hating myself, I don't know what it was, Carla. I just,
Mhm.
one day I was able to look at myself and not hate that guy,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
Um, it's not because of any kind of the accomplishments with the business or anything like that. You know,
Mhm.
that has nothing to do with it, because at this point, as long as I had my wife and my kids by my side, I wouldn't care.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I guess the other question too would be, and I've asked a couple of people this, did you have to change the circle of people you were surrounded by before then what then you were to what you are now? Did you keep any people, like did some people stay with you, or did you have to change your whole dynamic?
well, when I first got clean, I shut everybody out,
Right.
100%,
Yeah.
because everybody was using. And if you're going to be clean and try to stay clean, you cannot hang out with people that are using. Period.
Mhm. Right.
you can't talk to them on the phone. You can't, you know, if they want to come out of it and straighten out, then absolutely, you know, that's your duty to help them out of there.
Right.
You know, that's the way I feel about it, because I'm the one that brought my whole circle into it. I was the dealer. I was the guy that was supplying all the drugs.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
So at this point, if anybody in my circle that I used to be in wanted out of it,
Mm-hmm.
do I try to help them? Yeah. Do I go out of my way and go and funnel them money? And absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know, if they need to talk to somebody, or they need to, you know, if they're serious about it, then I'm going to help.
Mm-hmm.
But do I hang out with any of my old friends? Absolutely not. None. Not one.
Yeah. I think, you know, that is when it's, you know, there's some people that can say, oh yeah, I can hang out with those people and stuff, but I think for 98% of the population, if you've had trouble with something, you get back into that circle, that's gonna wreak havoc, because it's easy to fall back into those old ways. Like and you've worked so hard that to go backwards, yeah, it's better to do the distancing thing.
You have to, Carla, you know, and,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all going to say, oh, you changed, and you're not the same guy. Absolutely, I've changed.
Yep.
And am I that same guy? Absolutely not. I'm not that guy anymore.
Right.
You know, am I still the same guy that will help you if you need help? If you want to help yourself, absolutely.
Yeah.
But don't come looking to me if you just want a handout.
Right.
You know what I mean? I got a company. You need a job? You need some money? I'll take you to work. You can work.
Yeah.
So, if you're not going to work, you're not going to get money from me. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not an enabler.
Well, and that's it. I think people feel like if they do that, if they give them money, or, you know, they're being helpful, they think it's like, because it's, you know, you love that person, so you think you're helping them, and you are in fact enabling them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, first one. You know, will they hate you for it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
They'll hate you.
100%.
But guess what? My family loves me.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't care if they hate me. That doesn't hurt my feelings a bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's part of my past, and that's where it's going to stay.
Yeah, and I think we have to touch on the fact that you're getting some new artwork on you.
Yeah.
To help the past not be seen as much.
Yeah. You know, when I was in prison, obviously I got some really bad racial tattoos. You know, like my whole stomach was a Nazi warbird.
Yeah.
And I never thought anything about it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then my twins, you know, my youngest one, and then Phoebe, the one that lives in Tulare. I was looking at a picture of us. We were in Long Beach.
Yeah.
And they were young. And there's this big old warbird sticking out, you know. And I was like, how embarrassed do they have to be over something like that?
Right.
You know. So Daniel Bucking, Keith Parker, they made that go away. You know, and I went in the first setting. I didn't put too much of it on here for my first setting of the cover up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my company logo.
Yeah.
So,
which is so awesome. I know. I saw that when you were posting that in Worldwide, and you were talking about getting tattoos covered up, and I guess I never realized what they were. And so when I saw the pictures and you were showing the car, I was like, holy cow, like that's just one more step in letting go of all of that was, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing. And to see everybody who was able to step up to make that happen, again, I sat there just like blown away.
Yeah, all because of this page. You know, obviously I had a tattoo of Hitler on my arm under here. You know, and the same guy that tattooed that on me in 2002 did the cover up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so,
kind of a full circle moment, is what that is.
Yeah, he actually did it in my living room when I first got out of prison,
Yeah.
and he come over, and we were drinking and partying, obviously, and I was like, let's just put this tattoo on me. We put it on me, and now he owns his own shop here in Visalia, right downtown Mooney, and so it's kind of cool that the same guy that put that on me actually covered it up, made a picture of Hitler look like my grandpa.
That is cool. Yeah, that's awesome. It's really just whatever you need to do to make those changes. It all adds up for the better. And I mean, the things that you've had to overcome and go through and get through, that takes a lot of strength, and that takes a lot of courage. It's easy to stay where you were. It's easy to stay the same and not overcome those things, because why bother? And for you to do that is commendable.
Well, thank you. You're going to hustle to stay high, or you're going to hustle to stay with money in your pocket. Both hustles are hard. Which hustle do you want?
Yeah.
It's that simple. I would much rather hustle to stay with money in my family's pockets than to be high by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm that guy, part of that. I can't do something halfway.
You're all in.
I'm all in. I'm either one way or the other. So I'm either a drug addict or I'm not. And not that I'm not a drug addict anymore. I'll die a drug addict.
Yeah.
Do I use drugs anymore? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I drink occasionally, not a lot. As everybody at SFWW knows from the kickoff party last year, I may have drank a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
This tumbler right here, it's possible, but I don't drink profusely. Me and my wife she might have a glass of wine every 2 or 3 months, and I might have a Jack and Coke every 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
But I just want anybody out there that's actually listening to this or watching this, if you think you can't come out of where you're at, you're lying to yourself. You can come back from anything. It's not the fall that makes the person. It's how they come back from that fall.
Right. That is so true. You also touched on your kids and how there's still some things with a couple of them, that you have to go through and stuff. But I think as well, that's something important to talk about, is because people whether they lose custody of those kids. Chris was on last week, and he lost all forms of contact with them because of what he was doing. People get very hopeless in that situation. And that's where I think when you come on and talk, and you've got, how many kids in total do you have again? 12. So everything can be sorted out.
It can. Again, when you're addicted to a drug or an alcohol, and this is just my experience, I'm not a counselor, I'm not somebody special, I'm just an old recovering drug addict that knows what it took for me to get straight.
Right.
And what I've come to realize, and this is all new to me in the last year. And again, because of my wife, she's the one that's brought all this to light in my mind, When you're addicted to a drug or an alcohol, that's what you love. That's your number one love. You don't have any other concerns or cares in the world. When you wake up in the morning, it's to get high or to get drunk. It's not to hug your child. It's not to kiss your child. I lost all form of contact with all 4 of my kids.
Right.
4 kids are mine, 8 kids are my wife, but they're all mine. But anyway,
Yeah.
I lost contact with all of my children. They wanted nothing to do with me, and I don't blame them. I was a horrible person. I mean, I'm not even going to say how horrible I was and stuff I did. But I had gotten clean and sober. I got my own house again, and my daughter Ashley had just turned 16, and she decided she wanted to come live with me. So she came to live with me, and she was the first one that actually broke the ground and broke the ice to have a relationship with her dad again. And then my daughter Haley, she was a hard one. Oh God, she was hard to convince that I wasn't that person anymore, you know. And then Brittany, my oldest daughter, she was a hard one too, and she's still a hard one. And so that's the two that don't talk to me, Ashley and Haley. They have zero contact with me. They have zero anything to do with me. They think I'm the worst person in the world.
Right.
And it's understandable, you know. Yeah. I pray one day that we can have a relationship, but I'm not going to hate myself for it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that when I got to that point in my life, Carla, when I decided that I wasn't going to let that make me hate myself anymore, is when I was able to look in the mirror and not hate that guy anymore.
Yeah.
So
that's because when it comes to your kids and you know that that's what they think of you, or maybe you just think that in general because of things that you've done, that's a tough one to try to overcome, because I fight with that with things with my girls, and it's, you know, it's we're fine and stuff, but there's still that nagging, you know, I should have done this, I could have done that. And that's, I've got to work through that, and I will. But for the most part, it's good. But I don't care what anybody says. Being a parent, that is the hardest thing. And we all make mistakes. And sometimes they're bad. Like, sometimes they're bad. And that's the thing that is probably the hardest, is when those kids, like there was a year that I didn't speak to my oldest daughter. And I had to let that be. And I had to be okay with that. And it was hard. Very, very hard.
It's super hard, you know. You know, it's like a spot's dead inside of you.
Yeah.
You know, and if you put a piece of fruit that's rotten beside a good piece of fruit, that rotten piece of fruit is going to rot the one beside it.
Yes.
Okay? So you have to learn to separate you know, and I'm not saying separate your children or anything like that, but my emotional feelings, I can't let that negative emotional feeling get in with my positive emotional feelings, because then I become the most negative person that you'll ever see. So, and that's just, I think that's, my nature. I don't want to say it was my nature, you know, but, you know, because me and my dad, we didn't have the best relationship growing up. My dad beat the shit out of me. Like I was a full-grown man from the time I was old enough to be disciplined, you know, all the way up to the time I was, well, about 3 years before he got killed.
Right.
Got past all that, and we became, like, great friends.
Yeah.
You know? But, so me as a dad, I really don't know how to be a dad. I'm learning daily.
Right.
You know, I make mistakes constantly. You know, and that goes with everybody, Carla. We're all going to make mistakes. We're not, there's one person or one being that's perfect, and that's God.
Yeah.
You know, if you think that you're perfect, you're never, ever going to succeed at anything. You have to learn to accept your failures. And my way of thinking anyways, okay? If I don't say, hey, that was wrong, and this is what I have to do to fix that and not do that again, then you're never going to better yourself, you know? Because if you continue to think that you never do anything wrong, again, my wife was the one that showed me all this. If you continue to think that you're never wrong, you're so wrong.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes.
Perfect is not a thing that exists. It's a thing everybody strives. People strive for that, and it's just not a thing. It's
Yeah,
not a thing.
I don't want to be perfect.
Nope.
It's not a perfect thing. You know, I want to make mistakes. I want to learn from those mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, my past was a huge mistake, and I learn from it daily, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, somebody I follow on Instagram, she's a speaker and does a bunch of things, but she talked about how, like, she just flat out said, I want to see you fall down. I want to see you fail, because it isn't about the falling down and it isn't about the fail. It's about how you get back up.
Absolutely.
And it's so important, because people get caught up in the falling and the failing, and they're all this, and they talk themselves into this like state of they're the worst person in the world. It's how you come back. It's how you come back from whatever that is. That's what counts.
It doesn't matter how bad the mistake was. It could be you subtracted something wrong, or it could be that you made a wrong turn and crashed your car. You know, it doesn't matter what mistake you've made. You just have to be a grown-up and accept the fact that you've made a mistake. We're not 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're grown-ups. We're adults. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big issue in this world these days, is nobody wants to take responsibility.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to take their own blame. You know, I'm wrong 90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's real simple.
Me too. It doesn't sound good to say I'm wrong, but yes, I am.
No, it's true. You know, my son Derek, my oldest son, the one, he's my lead sprayer, and he also works for ASI.
Yeah.
I learn from him daily. I mean, daily. You know, about how to be a dad and how to father your children. Mm-hmm. You know, and it may sound weird that I'm learning from my son how to do that, but that's just where I'm at with it. You know, I have to draw from anywhere I can draw from, mm-hmm. that I see is worthy of drawing from in my eyes. You know. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm a hard person to please. You know, I'm super hard to please.
Yeah.
You know. And I think that comes from a lot of the time that I spent on my own, you know, and not caring what anybody else thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's, you know, and I think it's very important that you said that, because we can learn from anybody. It doesn't matter if it's our kids or, you know, like, just when somebody's younger than us, we can still learn from them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's okay to learn from somebody who's younger than us, who is, you know, I learn stuff from my kids all the time too, because they, you know, I have the good fortune of having 2 bonus children, and I'm telling you, I learned a ton from all 4 of our kids. All 4 of them teach us stuff all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have the good fortune of, I have 8 bonus children. You know? The thing is this, though. Okay, one thing that my dad instilled in me from the time I was old enough to remember, mm-hmm. to this day, and he's been gone 17, 18 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe more than that. But there is no step child, step dad,
nope.
step mom. There is none of that. Okay, when I accepted and decided that, well, when me and Tiffany decided we were going to become a family again, mm-hmm. there is none. When I married Tiffany in my vows, you know, I not only married Tiffany, but I married her children also. Yes. They're my children. Mm-hmm. You know, it's that simple. And I didn't even know this until here, you know, the last few years it's come to light that my dad was that way because my grandpa wasn't his dad.
Got it.
And, I didn't know all this, until
Mhm.
just here in the last, what happened? There we go.
There we go.
Here in the last few years, it came to light.
Yeah.
So that was another hurdle that I had to get over in my
Right.
life.
Mhm.
And that's all it is. I don't see them as hurdles anymore. They're just bumps.
Yeah.
You know.
I can't even that term step anything. I can't fathom it because I am technically a stepchild. Never been made to feel that way ever in my whole life. So when I see things about that, you see it online, and I can't wrap my head around it because how that term shouldn't even be a thing. Like, it's your family. Like,
Yeah.
that is my dad, that is my brother. They're not step anything. That's my dad raised me. Like, he is my dad. And that is my brother, and there is no question. So that term never sits well with me. Never.
No, it's a horrible term to me.
Yeah.
It's it's something that I've and again, it could be just the way we were taught, Carla, or
Yeah.
something, but I just don't believe in it.
No, I don't either.
They're my children, and they call each other brother and sister, and
Yeah.
so where I'm at today in my life is, I battle daily. Don't think just because I've been clean going on 20 years now that it's not a daily battle, because I was an addict way longer than I've been clean in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for me, in my dumb head, because the first thing that comes into my head is usually wrong because it's my old way of thinking.
Got it.
So to get past that old way of thinking and into the new, right way of thinking, like something goes wrong, I used to immediately just lose my temper, break shit, you know what I mean, and just throw a fit, like a tantrum, And again, my wife brought me out of that.
Yeah.
And it's just the true love, Carla, that my wife and my kids have continuously forced down my throat.
Right.
And it's not because I accepted it right away, because I didn't.
Yeah.
They forced it down my throat.
Mm-hmm.
Just continuously loving me and showing me, that it's going to be okay, and that they believed in me.
Right.
And for anybody, again, that's listening or watching this, we all believe in you.
Yeah, we do. You're not
You
alone.
So you're not alone. We all believe that you can come out of where you're at.
100%. Yeah.
So
It's part of the reason why I do that little thing I do on my stories, that, you're loved, you matter, all of that, because everybody needs to hear that. And I don't care who they are. You need to hear that. And I think that's why there's a crisis with opioids and all of that stuff, because people don't feel like they matter anymore, and maybe never did. Or, some of that can come from trauma. Some of that can just be because, it doesn't matter why it started, really. But the fact is, people need to realize they are not alone, and that they can do it, and that they do matter.
Right. I mean, it's real simple. There might be somebody watching right now that's sitting there alone.
Yeah.
Or they might be watching in the future that's actually sitting there alone. You're not alone.
You are not alone.
Billions of people just like you, just like me, just like my wife, just like anybody that walks this earth could be tomorrow. You can come back from where you're at, because you're not alone.
Right.
We're here.
Yes.
Call us.
Yep. Message us. Everybody is available now. it's easy to maybe make that first step now because you can do it by messenger, or you can send a text, or like there isn't the face, you don't necessarily have to have the face-to-face anymore. You can just send a message. Send the message. Send the message. Nobody's judging you.
No, I'm not here to. Absolutely not. If you knew where I come from and what I was, then you would realize and understand that I am nobody to judge anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I judge myself.
Yeah.
Because I want to be a better person.
Yeah.
You know, and anybody that's an addict or a recovering addict that's listening to this, Carla, realizes no matter who tries to help you or how much help they try to give you, until you're ready, you're not going to quit. You have to be your own person, and that part of it, you have to do on your own. We can't do that for you.
Yeah.
You know, now if it takes the fact that now you know there's millions of us out here that were there, you know, and if that's what it takes for you to get ready, then hey, give us a call, give us a text, shoot us a messenger. You know, there's numerous people on this page and on Facebook, you know, that don't be embarrassed.
Right.
Don't be embarrassed of where you're at in your life. You know, don't stop hating yourself, and you're not going to do that overnight. You know, but if you need help to try to get there and you're serious about it, hit us up.
Yeah, 100%. And that's, you know, and if somebody doesn't know who to reach out to, like, send me a message. I'll help. Like, I'll get you to the right people. Like, it's because you need to talk to people who have been there. You know, when you said something about, like, you're not a therapist, you're not a counselor, whatever, unless you've actually been there, I don't care how much schooling you've taken, you can't understand. And you can give technical advice and you can give all those things, but those people won't connect with somebody who has not been there.
Right.
You need to find that person.
Yeah. I mean, my wife actually went to college for all that got clean.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know if that helped me or made it worse, because some of the times I thought she was just trying to put me in classrooms. But
Did you guys, when you were first starting out in getting clean, did you guys go to any kind of I know you said you went to jail, but did you go outside of that? Was there any kind of detox or 12-step program, or have you guys just done your own thing? What has worked the best for you?
My wife actually went to a program in Bakersfield, and for me, I did zero program. I wasn't in jail when I got clean. This last time I did it all on my own, because I knew I was done, period.
Right.
I was done. I didn't want nothing to do with it. I was tired of being tired. And that's an old saying that you'll hear in this community of drug addicts. And that just means that we were just tired of it, man. It's just, I guess we grew up, you know?
Yeah, because you finally, you hit that point where it's like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And
I was done.
I think it was with Chris that we talked about rock bottom. Like, rock bottom, people can think that's your rock bottom. You can go a little bit further. Rock bottom for everybody is so different.
The rock bottom is a million different things in a million different people's eyes.
Right.
You know, for me, rock bottom was not living under a bridge or in a car. Or rock bottom was waking up in a bed in a house that, you know, that I was sick. You know, and I knew at that time I was done. I had been way worse than I was when I decided I was going to get clean, and I was done. I had been way deeper than that.
Yeah.
So rock bottom may be the fact that your telephone got shut off, you know, or for the next guy it may be that he's homeless on the streets and don't have no shoes. That might be his rock bottom.
Yeah.
You know, some of us, our mentality, everybody's mentality is different, Carla. You know, I can't tell you what your rock bottom's going to be.
Right.
know, nobody can tell you but yourself what your rock bottom is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But when
Yeah.
you know, you know.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So true. And we're heading into New Year's. So again, I've said this too, that holidays, it's bad at any time of the year if you're going through any kind of thing with addiction. I think holidays amplify it because it becomes that Hallmark mentality that is, again, doesn't exist. What would be something you would tell somebody who's struggling through the holiday times? What to do? How do they get through
Well,
it?
again, I really don't know how to tell anybody how to realize what they need to do, because when you're done, Carla, you start telling yourself your I don't know, your heart and soul
Yeah.
tells you you're done. You know, for me, holidays, birthdays, any kind of special event was just another reason to use.
Right.
Okay. Now, it's not that way for me, because you know you can't be alone through the holidays. I don't care where you go or who you go see. You know, go see somebody, shake their hand, even if it's at a homeless shelter. You know what I mean? Go be with somebody.
Yeah.
You know, don't let it. Stop letting it eat you up inside.
Mhm.
It's that simple. I don't care, but you know, my dad was doing a favor for me. I threw a fit like a fucking 3-year-old kid
Mhm.
till he did what he did for me the day he got killed.
Right.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
that's the cancer that eats at me daily.
Right.
Not just when I was using. Okay, but daily. That's my battle.
Yeah.
I don't know of any other thing in this world that can make you hate yourself any more than that.
Right.
I try to stay away from this subject just because of this.
No, I know you do. But I think, you talked about this in August when you were on, and that was the result of what's happened since, and it's been the thing that has brought people out of the woodwork too. And it's to change the thought process around that happening, and how everybody could say that isn't what you think it is and all that. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't help, and it doesn't matter. It's you will it becomes, now going forward, I think it becomes, this is talking about it, even if it's hard and it's a little bit at a time, it helps you maybe change and heal that inside of you a little bit, tiny little bit.
Well, I mean, the last interview, Carla, was the first time I'd ever talked about it,
Yeah.
ever, to anybody besides like my wife, you know, and a little bit with my kids, you know, but and it did help me start healing. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit. It did help me start healing and get past some of that, and that was one of the big reasons I wanted to come back on again. You know, because I don't talk like this with anybody, you know. Anyways, that's the battle that I fight daily, you know, with myself, and it is a constant, every minute of the day battle.
Yeah.
And I take that pain and I turn it into a drive to be a better person. You know, that's where
We see it with you every single day in Spray Foam Worldwide. you are one of the reasons why people are doing what they're doing, because you are without a doubt the first person. I would say you and Dave George are probably the top two who are instant to, like, you guys are, if you need something, you let me know, like, instantly. But it follows, like, there's a ton of people, but you've set that example in there, and it is a good thing. It's teaching other people. You guys are teaching other people every single day how to be a better person.
Well, I mean, I don't try to teach anybody, you know,
No,
anything.
you do it you just do it because it's in your nature, but it is definitely a teaching thing.
Yeah, have you guys got any earphones? I'm going to grab a set of earplugs real quick, Carla.
No worries.
Sorry. Couldn't
No,
have
it's
a
all good.
Carla without.
We got to have technical difficulties. Come on. We've got some really good comments on here, too.
Hang on, I'm going to go away.
He'll be back. You guys, we'll go back through the comments afterwards, too, and we'll answer and respond, too. But I've got some great comments on here. Where was that one? Chad Hedrick, only ever been one perfect one, and he's the only one that can save us from our wicked ways. Yeah, you guys, there's so many comments on here. We'll go back through them for sure, and we'll make sure that we answer you guys. Thank you for always participating. You guys are awesome. I'm reading them on my laptop because I can't see them on the screen anymore, but we'll get Rusty back. He's just changing out his headphones. So, Dave, it's awesome because of all of you. It really is awesome because of all of you. You guys always contribute, and you guys always have the greatest input and comments and all that. David Thacker, that's exactly right. What would life be without technical difficulty, especially on A Coffee with Carla? But I can hear him in the background, so
We're trying to get him hooked up right now, Carla.
no worries. You guys are all good. Chris, that's a huge thing, is you love remembering the holidays now. So that's, yeah, remembering. I like that in your, like, quotations for sure, because that's huge.
Is there a bunch of background noise right now?
No, it's all good.
Good, because I don't have any earphones on. We're trying to find stuff.
That's okay. That's all good. As long as we can hear you, it's cool. So I was just saying there's so many good comments on here. I'm good, Chris. I'm good today. So, yeah, we've got lots of comments. We'll have to go back and read through them and respond, but lots of great stuff. So,
Try another set real quick.
yeah. Dave, you know what? I don't think that's dumb at all. What you said, as dumb as it sounds, it takes an addict to help an addict. That doesn't sound dumb to me at all, because it's like anything. How can you help somebody if you haven't been there? You can help them to a point, but not fully. I don't ever believe that. So I think with all of you stepping up and saying, being available to people, it's huge. It's huge because they feel more comfortable, and they won't be. Maybe they'll be less scared to reach out to somebody who knows what they've gone through. So, yeah, I don't think that's dumb at all, saying it takes an addict to help an addict. I think it does, and that's why there is success in it. I mean, you guys have all been on. Cesar Rodriguez has come on, and I mean, Cesar's been on a couple times, same as Rusty, and it's been it's huge, the amount of people that you guys are helping, and I commend you all for being. So I know somebody, it was in the beginning when those posts started coming up in Worldwide about people sharing their stories, and somebody came on. There's always somebody that's got to make a dumb comment, but like they were like, why are we talking about this? And you have to talk about it. You have to talk about it, especially in the trade sector. I don't care. Like it's in every form of life, but in the trades in general, I think it needs to be talked about.
Absolutely. It's not something that you can just walk over anymore, Carla.
No.
You know, it's not cool to be high anymore. You know what I mean? It's and in my life, I don't know about everybody else's, but in mine, there was definitely a time where it was cool to be the guy selling the drugs. You know? That's not cool anymore. You know, that's my daughter Gabby right there.
Hello.
She's the one that works. She's the boss at Starbucks.
Ah, very good. Oh, I feel her pain. I have been there. That I can relate to for sure. But Chris has got a really amazing post he'll share after pertaining to addicts helping addicts. Chris Cullum has got a post, and I don't know if you've seen that post, Rusty, but like he shared it with me, I think, before. It is an amazing post. I think maybe he's posted it in the group, I can't remember, but it is about addicts helping addicts.
Yeah, and another thing, Carla, that we have to touch on here, you know, Bill and Robert and the rest of the admins, Mike, all of those guys, they made this group for spray foamers. Yeah. Okay, and it is advanced and taken off and becoming so much more than I think even they could have imagined that it would.
Right.
As far as a brotherhood. And because of them, we can share as a brotherhood, not just be straightforward, shoving foam down your, this is a family, you know, and all families have different topics to discuss, not just spray foam.
Right.
You know, again, they're the ones that are allowing us to do a coffee with Carla, to post our Monday morning rehab, you know, our help, you know, for anybody that's out there that needs help. Yeah. You know, and again, I thank those guys, all of those guys.
Absolutely.
They've done an amazing job with everything. Yeah. You know,
I would not be doing what I'm doing without it.
I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at 100% without Spray Foam Worldwide. 100%. And I think there's numerous hundreds, if not more than that, other people that are the same exact way. Yeah. We would not be where we are today without this page.
Yeah. No, agreed. 100% agreed, and probably beyond that. But we've been on here for about an hour and a half.
Really? Already?
Yeah, I know it goes by so fast, but I guess we should probably I should let you get back to your day and everybody else get on with their weekend, but you are welcome back anytime.
Well, thank you.
You, again, what happened in August after you were on was unlike anything I'd ever seen, in a good way. In a good way. And this is going to do the same thing as all of these conversations.
It was totally mind-blowing for me, Carla, after the interview in August. Yeah. You know, exactly for me to accept the fact that I was able to touch somebody else, you know, and maybe help somebody else. You know, it's hard for us to accept that. Yeah. As drug addicts, that we can actually better somebody else's life instead of hurt somebody else's life. Right. And one last thing before we go. Yeah. I've done so much harm and wrong to people in their life, in my life, in 49 years, that if I can touch or help one person, please, for everything holy, call me, text me, shoot me a messenger. I'm not a judgmental person. you know, any longer.
Yeah.
Please, you're not alone in this
I
world.
heard you guys have workday
Right.
now.
Yeah, they're a great partner.
Yeah.
They're always there with
I
insights and
think that
guidance.
is a great way to end this conversation, because it's not ending this conversation. This is going to be an ongoing conversation, and it's going to be talked about, and I think we need to keep it going and keep talking about it and keep posting about it. And it's saving people's lives. Nobody can convince me of that otherwise. It is saving somebody's life.
Well, I'm more than willing to come back anytime, you know, as long as our admins let us continue to do this.
Yeah.
I'm more than willing to come back and speak of my fucked up past and how it's made me who I am today.
Right.
So
Yeah. I guess I should ask you this. Are you going to SPFA?
absolutely. It's only
Yes.
2 hours from my house.
It's there you go. I guess you would, right? So anybody whoever's going to go can actually shake your hand.
If they want to,
If they
absolutely.
haven't, yeah.
You know? Yeah, absolutely. I'm just Rusty Schrader, you know what I mean? I'm nobody special, but absolutely, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be at every single one that I can be at for the rest of my foam career.
Yeah, you guys have you've gone to a couple, well, probably more than one, but like not just SPFA, but events outside of that, and they've been, from everything you guys post about them, how amazing they are. And I think it's not only the knowledge and all of that, but you guys are actually getting to meet in person and, you know, have that and just strengthen those bonds you guys already are creating. It's
a big deal, Carla. People think it's just a trade show or it's just this or it's just that.
Right.
Okay. The camaraderie and the connections and the people that you actually get to sit down and have a face-to-face conversation with. You're going to get good conversation through Spray Foam Worldwide. Absolutely you are. But that doesn't match shaking somebody's hand and sitting down face-to-face with them. It's worth the money to come, believe me. You know, Bill and all those guys do an excellent job of making it more than a trade show.
Right.
So I'm excited to go and pick up my new rig that I'm going to win this year.
Well, I know, you know, congratulations.
I already got my license plate made for it. So,
oh my gosh, yeah. It's always, I remember I've watched those where they've done the live and it's like gets down to who it's going to be, and like I'm yelling sitting on my couch. I'm like, okay. Because I remember, I think it was, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but it was Liz and Manish. I think their name was in it. And I
that was last year, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay. I was like so excited, and it was just, it's fun to watch that live, you know, but I can only imagine what it's like in person.
Oh, it's amazing, you know. And then another thing I want to touch on real quick, you know, was the rescue rig.
Oh,
that
yes,
That was a huge dream that I've watched my buddy Josh dream up from ground zero to making it real. And then to be the first guy, if you watch the rescue rig reveal video, the first guy in that machine is me. Yeah. With my camera, and then the first guy to spray with that rig on a job was me.
That's cool.
And I'm a huge supporter of Josh and his dream. Yeah. You know, so and that's another thing that this page has done. You know, it makes you build dreams. It makes your dreams come true. Period. Yeah. I don't and nobody will ever convince me any different than that. This page makes dreams come true. Yeah, that's it. Absolutely, it does. And I mean, you guys, when we got to see some of those live videos of you guys spraying that day with the rescue rig, and just, you know, Eric Gladson is on here, and he was doing a live that day, and it was like, because I was like, where's the live? Like, I think Josh posted a thing about when it was coming on, so I was waiting and waiting, and I'm like, did I miss it? Like, what happened? But then it was the next day. I think it was after the night before you guys had the gathering or whatever. But it was so cool to see you guys all come together and do that. It was super cool, Carla, and it was something that wasn't even planned out. You know, we went for the reveal. You know, Jeremy, Eric, me, and there was a couple other sprayers that actually went for the reveal. you know, and then Chris Ellison, and then to be the first crew to take that rig to a job in Texas and spray with it for Chris Ellison was unbelievable. You know, I missed my flight. My wife was furious. You know, Jeremy missed his flight. You know, it's not like this was something that was planned out.
Right.
You know, it's unbelievable to be part of this groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And I think when you're surrounded by people who have those visions and those dreams of making those things happen, stick with those people, because it'll happen. With everybody has a little piece of it, or everybody contributes in some form, whatever that may be, it absolutely will happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 100%. So this is Shelly Schrader Nelson said, just so you all know, this is the person he always has been. The drugs just hit it for a few years, but he's always been wonderful. Is that your sister?
That's my older sister in Washington. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my biggest supporter. She's never ever faulted me or put me to the side.
Yeah. She's been there.
Yeah.
I remember her commenting in the last time you were on too, commenting about that. So, yeah. All right. So, do you have anything you want to say to wrap everything up?
No, I'm good. Thank you
good.
very much.
Oh, yeah. I'm thrilled you came back on, and I'm glad we got to round out the year chatting with you. That's awesome. So, we will go back. Like I said, we'll go back through the comments and we'll answer them and everything. Again, you guys, if anybody is struggling, as Rusty said, reach out. Please know you're not alone. There's numerous people here that can help, and that's what we're here for. So,
yeah.
All right. So you guys all have a fantastic New Year's. It'll be 2020 when we get to talk to Haley, so that's next week. But you guys all have a great New Year's, and thank you again, Rusty. I am thrilled you were on.
Thank you, Carla. Happy New Year to everybody. You know, and just remember, you know, my higher power is God. That may not be your higher power. That doesn't make you a bad person. You know, draw on your higher power, whether it be a foam gun or it be whatever it is. Draw from that higher power, and let's get you back up and becoming a better person.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. We will see you all next year. Bye for now.
All right.